Gaming news today is all about the future. The PS5 Pro continues to exceed expectations. Space Marine 2 DLC and post-launch plans have been revealed. We should be getting some Indiana Jones and the Great Circle previews very soon. XDefiant responded to some of the rumors about that game's future, and Xbox Game Pass made some pretty big changes right before Black Ops 6 came out. So I'm going to run down through some of this with you this morning, as well as give you some new games to put on your wish lists and your radar. If you like this kind of content, hit like and hit subscribe, and consider becoming a member. Click that join button, pick Member Plus to get into all the extra content and behind the scenes. So the lead story today is that PlayStation 5 Pro is exceeding expectations, and I have a video on the channel right now that went live this morning basically arguing that this thing was underestimated. As far as I can tell, many people were quick to essentially talk about a handful of things. There were talking points about GTA 6 being 30 FPS before the device was even in the wild or in the hands of tech outlets. There was things claiming that the PS5 Pro Enhanced label could land on 30 FPS games. The CPU bottleneck claims, the price, and the pitiful and embarrassing PC comparisons. But I continue to show in the video that in every category, the PS5 Pro is continuing to prove it's been underestimated. I look at the power, I look at the games, the developers, I look at the sales, and just the commentary surrounding it now from the tech outlets that sort of underestimated it, now exceeding all of their expectations. So be sure to check out that video. It is about 12 minutes, not super long, but it combs through all those various things. And if you go watch those videos every morning that I upload and you leave a comment, you might get featured in the live if you do. And feel free to stick around and be here for those live discussions, because I'd love to know if you agree or what you think, or if you disagree about the PlayStation 5 Pro being underestimated. The second big story is that Space Marine 2 has revealed its post-launch plans. After just a few weeks, Focus Entertainment has announced new content coming to Space Marine 2. They're bringing a whole year of content that is, quote, entirely free. It will start with a brand new PvE operation. It'll take you back to one of the planets, and you're going to face the biggest Tyranid yet, the Hierophant Bio Titan. And yes, it's huge, and I think the fight looks awesome. I've already seen some people claiming that it looks a little bit like Helldivers, but very different combat and a very different way of playing. They've also added a new difficulty. Lethal difficulty is being added to the game if you really want to take things up a notch and make it even harder on yourself. And then the Armory will be providing you with a new weapon as well, the new Volkite pistol. So for those of you that have been looking to add a little bit more to your arsenal, that will be there as well. And then Season Pass owners will get cosmetics, and one will be from a fan favorite chapter, the Dark Angels. So if you're big on the lore and you've been involved with Warhammer for a really long time, that could be pretty exciting as well. And that's just the beginning, according to them. Future seasons will have new PvE missions and operations, new things for you to do. There'll be additions to PvP. There'll be a new game mode. There'll be new arenas, new weapons, a horde mode, and more. So if you're a big Space Marine fan, if you enjoyed Space Marine 2, I've been meaning to get back into it. They addressed a lot of the issues when you were playing single player. I've heard that co-op was great, but single player did have some issues that they addressed, and I haven't had a chance to go back just yet. Now, apparently, in the coming weeks, another story that hit the airwaves here is that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle previews should be landing soon. Insider Gaming ran this one yesterday, and they had a headline saying Indiana Jones and the Great Circle hands-on previews are coming this month. Now, they opened up the article saying that they have been told this is happening, so they do have sources or a source, but it was also pretty heavily hinted by content creators as well. They said the following: one content creator has not so subtly hinted that he's traveling to such an event to play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. At one of the events on social media, he said, hopefully learning whip skills and wearing a cool leather jacket, he said, when he was headed to something in San Francisco. Now, this is obviously exciting, and hopefully the review embargo is also ahead of the release so we can get an idea of how great this game is before it releases. I always like review embargoes to land at least 24 to 48 hours before the release of a game. Previews do tend to be pretty positive. Everybody's sort of just enjoying their time. Nobody's going to be critical. It's usually just a vertical slice, and I obviously hope that what comes out of this is not necessarily critical feedback or analysis of the game, because it'll just be a sample, but I hope we get a better look at new gameplay, especially the fighting, sneaking, the shooting, the puzzle solving. All of those things are one of the elements of the trailers that always seem a little quick and hard to know. I've been concerned about it being first person for a while, so it'll be interesting to see what people think when they play it. Now, the game is coming to Xbox and PC on December the 9th, and in an interview, they said this about it coming to PS5. Indiana Jones creative director Axel Torvenius said in an interview earlier this year, from Machine Games' point of view, we are super thrilled and excited over the fact that we will be able to be on PlayStation next year as well. So they're excited. A lot of companies have expressed excitement around the PS5 Pro also. So we will see if it ends up being another Xbox title to get that label when it comes out next year. We still don't know the release date. I believe they'll probably announce the release date for the PlayStation 5 after it is out on Xbox, given that this was originally announced as an Xbox game, and now they renegotiated the contract, so it could be an exclusive, and now it's no longer a console exclusive. Now, yesterday we saw rumors about XDefiant, and honestly, I didn't find the rumors all that surprising, because they were experiencing some trouble with their player base numbers, and that's been pretty typical of games like this. Even if they do well, even if people like them, you're always going to struggle to maintain that player base, and the XDefiant executive producer responded to the rumors. The rumor of it shutting down, again, I think a lot of us were like, yeah, that kind of tracks. They were having issues with their player base numbers, but Mark Rubin took to Twitter and said the following: "To be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down after Season 4. I've literally been in meetings as of the last week to discuss our Year 2 plans, but right now, we are super focused on improving the technical experience and adding more content for Seasons 3 and 4. We've done very little marketing, so yes, our numbers are down, but that is just to give the team the time to get the game in a better place before we do bigger spends on marketing to bring new players to the game and to bring back players that have left." So he seems to be attributing the downturn in player numbers to the fact that they've kind of backed off from marketing because they're wanting to dig in and make fixes and adjustments and polish, and then they'll go back to doing marketing spend, which then should see the player numbers turn around. So hopefully he's right. I know people have enjoyed this game. I was kind of cheering for it because it did seem like a scrappy little game kind of going up against Call of Duty, and that's what they're claiming. There you have it. They live to fight another day. I continue to think that PvP shooter live service games are going to struggle to garner and keep a player base. I just think that's a huge challenge. I think Splitgate 2 is going to face that challenge. The Finals is facing that challenge. You know, even some of the other games coming out that we've talked about, I just think it's going to be a very, very difficult thing. It's not that they can't be good. It's not that they can't be fun. It's not that you can't have people playing it for the first couple of weeks or the first month. It's after that. Can you survive 1 year? Can you make it? And it seems XDefiant has already been discussing their Year 2 plans, so they're going to try to survive in the massively saturated market. Now, the last story here is that Xbox has made changes to Game Pass one more time before Black Ops 6 releases, and Charlie Intel reported the following on Twitter. Just ahead of Black Ops 6's launch next week, Microsoft has removed the option to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass for $1 for 14 days. Now, there's no free trial available, just full price subscription per month. Now, this is not surprising at all. They already made changes to Game Pass. They've already said, hey, you got to have Ultimate if you want day and date, and also they increase the price of Game Pass. And I made a minor mistake yesterday when we were looking at the fact that MW3, Warzone, and Black Ops 6 will be coming to Cloud, the xCloud, and you will need Game Pass Ultimate, and I had forgotten that MW3 came to Game Pass. I literally reported on it. I have a video on my channel talking about it, and I forgot because nobody cared, okay? We had 600 people watching my stream at the time, and nobody corrected me, which I think really adds credence to the criticism and something that we did talk about yesterday. The Activision Blizzard deal was supposed to usher in this great monsoon of games like, hey, you've got all these Call of Duties to put on Game Pass, and they gave you the worst reviewed Call of Duty in history. They didn't give you any of the classics. They didn't give you any of the fan favorites. They gave you the one with literally the worst review score of all Call of Duties. So congrats, you got me. What a great gotcha. I forgot that they put that on Game Pass. What a huge win for all you Xbox guys. Now, let's put some games on your wish lists and on your radar. This first game is literally called Redacted. I'm not being cute. It's called Redacted, and if you want to search for it, you do have to put brackets around Redacted. There is another game called that. I honestly think they should change this game's name because I think it's a terrible name and it makes it hard to search for, and it looks awesome, okay? I actually learned this just yesterday. I don't know how I missed this. If you pay close attention, you might see some of these weapons looking familiar, especially those shock batons, those shock sticks. This is taking place in the same prison from Callisto Protocol, Black Iron Prison. Okay, it's an action roguelike game, somewhat clearly inspired by the art style and the play flow of Hades, but it has guns and some of the token weapons from Callisto, and this one is just around the corner. It releases on October 31st on Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 5, and PC. So be sure to wishlist today. This will be definitely one I'll be checking out. That's a great reason to become a member to the channel at the Member Plus tier so you can come to the green room or any of those extra streams that I do. That's when we typically do gameplay on the channel of a lot of these smaller titles, and it's been a great way for me to show off some of the titles that I've recommended. I've shown them off in green room, so be sure to check those out. Now, another one that I want to check out because the art style is just so cool is The Spirit of the Samurai. It features a very, very interesting 2D stop-motion art style, like almost claymation, if you're familiar with those old shows that did this. I grew up on, like, what was it called? Davy and Goliath, I think. Anyway, this is described as a 2D action adventure game. It also has the Metroidvania tag on Steam. I'm not sure if the developers put that there or not, but that would be pretty cool because it does look like you get different abilities, different movement styles, and things of that nature that may make you able to go back into other areas. Most of it probably centers around fighting. It also right now has a demo on Steam. Another great reason to be a member here. I may check that out in the green room. And it releases on December the 12th on Steam. Now, there is console release dates forthcoming. They're going to announce those. I think it's going to be releasing on console next year, but they have not yet said. So those of you that have, PC, you like to play on Steam, this seems like probably a game that would probably run pretty well and be great on Steam Deck as well. Be sure to check out Spirit of the Samurai. It's also kind of just around the corner in the beginning of December on December the 12th. Now, this next game is a game that could actually get me to fall in love with turn-based combat, as I've never been a huge fan of it. I think Child of Light was one of the few games I played a bunch. And no, that's not Robert Pattinson. He's very handsome, but it's not him. This game, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, they just released this cast reveal trailer yesterday. And they have really captured faces and emotion just so well. This game looks really, really good. And the voice cast is busting at the seams. You've got people like Charlie Cox, Ben Starr, the oh-so-handsome Ben Starr, and Andy Serkis. And that character that looks so much like Robert Pattinson, a lot of people thought it might have actually been him, but it is not, especially if you've seen any of the screenshots from The Lighthouse. Currently, this is slated for Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation 5 with a release window of 2025. And you can see here, the turn-based combat is bombastic. It is action-oriented. There's chances to parry, chances to maximize damage with timing your button presses. It looks really, really cool. This will probably be one of the first games that has come out in a long, long time that's turn-based that I'll be probably diving into this day one. So, those are some games for your wish lists and your radar. And just a quick recap of all the stories of today. I got an upload on the channel right now about the PlayStation 5 Pro being underestimated. Be sure to check that out. Be sure to give it a like and a comment. You might get featured in the live show. Then I walk through Space Marine 2's post-launch plans. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle previews will be here sometime soon in this month. XDefiant replied to the rumors that they're shutting down, and Xbox Game Pass made one last change just before Black Ops 6 came out. So, that's the news, and now it's time for the discussion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Go through that ritual, smash that like button. The support of this new format has just been so encouraging, and we always have so many likes when I come out of the show open. Let's get to 200 likes. Let's get that super fast. And if you missed morning coffee this morning, we also changed format there a teeny bit as well. I went live right at 9. We had some people kind of complaining about, man, when you don't go live on time, it really makes it tough. So I went live with a hey, starting soon screen with some music. That was a great suggestion yesterday from Noberto. And people seem to like it. And I think it only took me about 5 minutes to get on the mic. And so thank you everybody that was there this morning for morning coffee. Thank you everybody who continues to support the stream as well. DK Bager gifted a member during the premiere, so Han shot first, and so did you, DK Baker, and then Pimptastical hits 30 months of members, and the membership really slowed down this week, and we've got a great incentive for you. If you hit this goal, I have to play Silent Hill 2 on Friday. I was going to hold off and play it on the Pro. Also, if you hit the stretch goal, we will have Madam stream Friday night and play Silent Hill 2. And it's so fun to watch her play scary games. So do everything you can to help us hit this goal. It'll be really fun. Renew your memberships, gift, all the things. All those things count. Upgrades count as well. Bro Sexy with 28 months and a VIP. Count it. Says now back to work and lurk. Thank you so much, Bro Sexy. And there it is, taking the count to 69. Nice. And if 5 of you upgrade, I'll drop a 20 bomb, so consider upgrading. It'll help out a bunch more people. I heard JRPGs are only on Xbox now. I mean, yeah, I think. And with that PC output, uncompressed 3D audio through the same HDMI cable, what are you talking about, Eugene? And a 10 bomb from Charles Freeman. He says, come on, we got to turn this thing around. And he doesn't hesitate to throw down a big one. Good morning to you, Stone Spire. Good to see you. Putting us right there on the doorstep of a 20-bomb dunker at 79. Put out the bat signal. If you guys want to have some jump scare spooky Fridays, we've decided to move Fridays to Friday afternoon, but I'll still bring Madam to a Friday night if you guys can hit that stretch goal. We were moving it to Friday afternoon because not as many people were able to show up on Friday evening. So thank you guys so much. What did you guys think of the new format? It might have been subtle. It might not have been that obvious, okay? It might have been, it might have been very unnoticeable, but I tried a very different format with today's upload. I didn't read as much. I gave myself bullet points. It was an attempt to make the video more conversational, and it seems that the video is doing very well. Thank you everybody who threw their support behind that. Let's read some of the comments here. There's just somebody laughing. Laugh all you want, bro. Who cares? We'll be playing it and having a good time. This guy says, I'll trade a PS5 Pro for PS1 or PS2 any day of the week. Remember when Sony put out great games? They've been putting out great games. A bunch of Game of the Year nominees. Hang on, I can't type. Not good enough for you? Like, really? They've been putting out great games. What you talking about? Spider-Man 2 was nominated for Game of the Year. God of War Ragnarok was nominated for Game of the Year. I guess those are not good enough for you, I think the haters secretly want to cuddle with a warm PS5 Pro. They'll all buy it in secret, or they'll just make videos about buying it and just switch teams because they don't feel like they have much of a choice, but there you go. All I see is technical analysis on PS4 games. As stated by Digital Foundry and others, the Pro will not run at 60 FPS like the Series X does now on new games unless the game is built for the Pro. They literally didn't say that. They literally didn't say that. They were speaking specifically to VRR, and everybody's completely misrepresenting it. That's not true. This idea, these guys are down so bad trying to claim that the Series X is going to outpace the Pro. These guys are down real bad, and they're taking one snippet from a Digital Foundry thing where they're talking about VRR, and they're like, oh no, yeah, the PlayStation 5 Pro isn't going to do 60 FPS as good as the Series X. Okay, well, I tell you what we'll do. Let's have a contest. Let's do this. Let's have a contest. You go make a list of all the Xbox Series X enhanced games and show us the performance. And then I'll go get a list of all the PS5 Pro enhanced games, and we'll look at performance. And when you come back after 5 seconds, because there are no Xbox Series X enhanced games, I'll still be working on my list, so you'll have to bear with me. Let's have a contest if you really think that the Series X is going to outperform the Pro. Let's do that. Why don't we do that? Show me the list. Where's the list? Where's all those Xbox Series X enhanced games? Where are they, man? I want to see. You can talk about FPS boost on a bunch of old-gen games, and that's a huge selling point. But, the pro-boosting performance of next-gen titles and, adding ray tracing to 60 FPS modes, that's not good enough, I guess. So, I guess just continue to settle for old-gen games at FPS boost then. Just do that, And then we'll just continue to see third-party games and Xbox games do PS5 Pro Enhanced label, and it'll be the best place to play your games. Eugene says, can I turn on a PC with the press of a button on a wireless controller, and then the PC turns on? Will it also turn on my TV and my AVR, and then I can fully navigate the PC with a controller? You were talking about, do you want to actually do PC gaming in the living room? I've been doing PC gaming in the living room only because there are games that I can't get on console, like Deep Rock Galactic, Survivor, and then Ember Knights with my wife. For whatever reason, Ember Knights was supposed to be coming to console, and they just, I don't know, there's not been any updates about it, and they just pushed out DLC this week, so not really sure what the issue there is. So, Avowed's coming out capped at 30. Yeah. I'll be playing Xbox published games, Xbox first party games with the PS5 Pro Enhanced label, and you can play Avowed at 30. So I guess we'll see who's better at running 60 FPS games. I mean, maybe they'll patch Avowed later. Maybe the creative decision to run it at 30 has an expiration date on it. So these combos are why people think you're a pony. At this point, it's like, I don't even care, Brooklyn. I don't even care. It's like trying to combat lies with truth with people that don't care about the truth is a waste of time, right? It's like running the narrative. If you're going to run false narrative that the Series X is going to be better, stronger, or run games better than the Pro, I mean, I'm just going to have to be a little tongue in cheek with you. It's like I can't take these people seriously anymore. Where are all of the Series X enhanced games? If it's such an impressive piece of equipment and it's so awesome, then where are all the games that leveraged it and enhanced things? Where's all the performance? Why do you have so many first-party games launching at 30 FPS if the Series X is so dadgum impressive? Yo, Fuzzy with the VIP says, what's this button do? He sets it up. There it is. We'll see if anybody swoops in and takes the 20 bomb to the first 100. We are way behind on pace this week, but you guys could turn it around today. You can make me play Silent Hill 2 on Friday. Spooky month. It's October. You can make Madam play on Friday night. So let's get it going. Let's look at some of these other comments here. David Farias says, I was always fascinated by hate YouTubers spreading about this console. Like, they didn't know what the performance is like compared to the base, considering these top YouTubers are rocking top-tier PCs. Let me let you in on a little secret. A lot of them have mid-level PCs and don't know what they are talking about. Like, that's the issue, okay? Like, a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. It's like they're telling you to buy systems that are more expensive, I understand, just letting you know. At this point, Brooklyn, I've just expected it as a constant, there are constants in the universe, there's gravity, there's the third, there's all of the scientific laws of nature, and then there's creatively impotent people that will parasitically use the content of others because they are nothing without the content of others, and then there's people that will hate and call you a pony because you're critical of their plastic box. I mean, these are pretty much written laws within the fabric of reality. So, I've just accepted that that's what people are going to do, and I don't care what they do with their life and their content. And Patrick Q gifts a member and takes us to 81. Thank you so much. As I've learned in my own life, from, 2020 to now, truth always wins and liars always lose. So I've just committed to not caring about dishonest people. Good morning. Any news on Black Ops 6 being better on the Pro? That's the main game that I play. Yeah, there's no word about being enhanced on the PS5 Pro. I think that's going to be the big question is, I don't think it's a question of whether or not developers want to leverage the PS5 Pro enhanced label. I think they want to, okay? They want to. But I also think there's going to be a touchy way of doing it. Like Rod Ferguson sort of took the first shot across the bow and was like, yeah, Diablo 4 is going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. But Diablo 4 has already been out for a while. It originally released as a multi-plat, so it's in a little bit of a different category. Indiana Jones is a staggered release, so if Indiana Jones ends up being PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced, it's like, okay, well, it was a staggered release. Black Ops 6 and Doom the Dark Ages, those are the two big question marks for me now. Number one, I think they will get the label. I think they will seek to do things with it, especially that campaign. Black Ops 6 campaign looks really, really dope. And the thing that they're probably going to do is be a little hesitant to start dropping that label day one. It may come later. But then again, once they move into a more publishing role, I just don't think Xbox is going to care. It's like, hey, let those people know, let that audience know that we're pushing the envelope. You know what I mean? I think that's the point. Is there'll be this is all in transition. Indiana Jones being staggered, I don't think that's the standard. I think Doom the Dark Ages and Black Ops 6 is the standard. I think day and date releases will be the standard. And then I also think, I don't know if they'll promote the fact that they're PS5 Pro enhanced. Like Liza P came out and said it. And that was in my video this morning. I was like, listen, it's not PlayStation coming out and saying, oh, hey, these games are enhanced. It's the actual games themselves are saying it. Why? I think they know it's a valuable thing. I think they know it's good to walk out into the public and say, you know what? Yeah, this thing, we're going to do this. This is nice. Like, did you see what the Dragon Age Veilguard guys had to say? They're like gushing over the PSSR, and they're excited to show off their game on the PS5 Pro. You have to understand something. Developers don't have allegiance. They don't have any allegiance to brands. They have allegiance to their art, to their game, to what they're creating, to their craft. That's where their allegiances lie. So I do not think you're going to see companies, being like, well, we don't want to do that because, we bleed green. I don't think there's a single developer that bleeds green. They just happen to be owned by Xbox. I also think you'll notice this even within the PlayStation camp. The PlayStation first-party studios are not, bleed blue allegiant because they were all really excited to bring their games to PC. I think there was an interview where one of them talked about how they were always begging to bring their games to PC. Why? They wanted to set those games loose. Raise the frame rate, raise the resolution, do more. I think developers don't have allegiance to brands. They don't care. Their allegiance is to the art, to the craft, to the product. They want it to be as awesome as possible. So that's going to be, I think, the big question is if you have developers that are like, hey, we got these PS5 Pro dev kits, dude, we can do some pretty slick things with the ray tracing or this campaign or whatever this over here. They're not going to hold back, I don't think. I think the question would be then, how does Xbox want to handle that as an announcement? Do they want it to be announced on Twitter? Do they want it to be in a trailer? Do they want to just let it quietly get announced by PlayStation? Because I don't think there's a win there. I don't think there's a win there, because if you let PlayStation announce it, then you're letting PlayStation basically leverage your property, and now they're in charge, or they're getting to talk about your game and setting terms. It's like you kind of want to set your own terms. So I would think that Xbox would want it to be handled by the actual game or the developer. So as an example, id Software, if Doom the Dark Ages is PS5 Pro enhanced, they would probably have id Software speak on that or announce that or say something in a blog or a tweet. I don't think you'll see official Xbox accounts drawing attention to PS5 Pro enhanced. I don't think you'll see the at Xbox Twitter account or the Xbox YouTube channel. I don't think you'll see any of it there. I don't. Like they had Jeff Keighley do the one more thing with Indiana Jones. They didn't do that. They didn't do that in an interview. They didn't do that in like a showcase. They obviously talked about it after the fact, but they had Keighley handle the announcement. And I think that's just something you're going to continue to see. It's an evolutionary process. Now, in a couple of years, who knows? They might not even freaking care. They might think of themselves more along the lines of like EA. Like if EA publishes a game and does PS5 Pro enhancements and wants the label, and then they announce it, Xbox in 2 to 3 years might be like, yeah, there's no reason for us to not say that. We put our games everywhere now. It's become such a standard practice. You know, I'm thinking 2026, 2027. If it's such a standard practice by then, there wouldn't be any cause for them to hold back and be like, well, you got to say it later, or, you know, don't put it in the trailer, or don't do this or don't do that. If you're trying to maximize your reach with your product, you want everybody thinking it's as awesome as possible. That's something that you're going to do. And the beauty of that is for PlayStation is that's just free advertisement for their hardware every time a game does that. So, welcome in everybody, guys. Smash that like button and hustle up on the members, man. Renew your memberships, gift to memberships, or upgrade. Those are all great ways to push that member goal. Somebody here says, I pre-ordered and I'm looking forward. It didn't do much for Dragon's Dogma 2 for some reason. That isn't true. That's not true at all. The worst place for FPS went up into the mid 50s. From 30 to 40. That's a huge jump. What are you talking about? They were amazed in the analysis of Dragon's Dogma 2. They were amazed at like that in-town area, which is one of the worst places for FPS. You know, it's usually in like the 30s or the 40s. It's all over the place. They were in like the mid 50s, which is then going to be covered by VRR. And then when they got out into the world, they said it was largely stable at 60. So that actually is a huge jump for Dragon's Dogma 2. Yo, what's good, Anthony Robinson? Guys, take a quick second and make sure it saved your like as well. YouTube made some updates to the layout of YouTube. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but they overhauled the entire UI. It might not have landed on you guys yet, but when I go to like a live stream, it looks different now. And Balfagor with the 10 bomb says, come on, let's get to that first 100, boys. And he gets us to 91. Usually all downhill from there. Let's get that first 100. I owe you guys 5 members right now. If you hit that 100, I'll owe you a 10 bomb. Let's get it going. Get a little train going. I'll drop my 10 bomb, and then we'll go. I tell you what, I'll throw down the gauntlet. If you guys hit 200 today and then 300, I'll do 50 bombs each, that not at 100. I'll do 50 bombs 200 and above. We'll start blessing some people. This guy says, in Cerny, I trust. I'm going to go all the way down. Wait, Brooklyn Breed said something here. The PS5 Pro is going to be the generation-defining console when this gen is over. Agreed. Looking forward to getting mine. It's going to be epic. I like the tone change and the new approach here. Well edited per usual. Omar, I appreciate you saying that. Did you guys notice that I changed my approach in the upload? It was supposed to sound way more conversational. It's supposed to sound like this, how I talk here, and not so much of a monologue read. I wasn't really happy with, I was happy with my videos. I think we put out good product. We put out good videos, good value. But I always felt like they were very different in their cadence compared to how I talk here. And so I changed my process. I changed how I wrote it, recorded it, all of it. And I was just curious if you guys noticed it, if you picked up on it. I'll obviously continue to try to improve and make it better. I want the videos to be as good as possible. It felt less rigid. Okay. I want you to always feel like, man, these videos are worth watching. Like, he puts the work in. It's quality. It's well structured. It's thoughtful. They're not super long. I try to keep them within the hemisphere of 10 to 15 minutes. Love your new format. Thank you. Yeah, the live format shift has just been so much fun, and you guys have been awesome. Thank you for throwing your weight behind these live streams with your likes, your listens, your lurks, renewing memberships. Remember that says, bro, I never watched you, but this is 3 times in a row someone gifted me your subs. The only thing I can say, MV Rat, is that they think that you might like it here, and if you don't, We can take care of that. You know, if you don't want to get a membership anymore, there's a really easy way for me to put a stop to that. But yeah, if you don't like the uploads, the live streams, and the members content, that's fine. There's plenty of people on YouTube to watch that you might prefer over me. It sounds a little messed up, but I think we need Xbox to fail so the focus can just go back to the games instead of the platform wars. There's so, I don't know. I don't. The platform war is driven by the games, though. Like, I don't know. I low-key FW the monologues. I don't know. Oh, fast forward the monologues. Sorry, a little miss this morning, but I'll watch later and give you a comment and a thumbs up. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. Like, I don't know if I agree with that, Sarah, because it's like the platform war was best at its best when it was driven by the games. It was driven by, hey, we're doing this, we've got that, they've got that, we've got, like, that's, I think, what you want to see. Rice Eater with a $5 super chat. Digital Foundry analysis of Dragon's Dogma 2 was seemingly deceptive. They used the full ray trace PS5 Pro version versus the complete non-tracing PS5 version and said the Pro wasn't as fast. What? In the video that I watched, he had high praise. He said this one area, which is like one of the worst areas for frames per second, it was maintaining like mid-50s, and then when they got out into the rest of the world, it was maintaining 60. And I'm like, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I want to see. Like, a game that was notoriously known for not maintaining good frame rate was actually doing it. So I don't know what to say. This guy says, no, doesn't mean you're buying the PS5 keeps you broke. Yeah, here, you can take a walk. You're just going to insult people for liking something. Like, goodness gracious. I don't know if they sell t-shirts that say, I'm an insecure boy, but, you know, I think I'd make a lot of money if I sold those t-shirts for all these guys. Oh, F with. I'm sorry. I low-key F with the monologues. Okay. Well, it's still a monologue, Brooklyn, but it should be a little bit more of my cadence and my personality and how I talk. So, appreciate you guys so much. The upload this morning is screaming. So, thank you so much. That's a new format shift. We're trying also to do uploads that are more of just my opinion on something, right? And then this is your opportunity to talk gaming news. Gaming news today, right? Whether it's the PS5 Pro being underestimated, that's related to the news. I mean, we're seeing reports of it selling well on Amazon in basically every region. And also we have the new footage, new clips, new comments from Digital Foundry basically saying, hey, this thing exceeded our expectations, which I actually respect Digital Foundry for being more meager and not like hyping it up so that then they could be pleasantly surprised. I think that was the appropriate approach for them to take. Like, I think people were initially feeling like Digital Foundry was like trying to throw shade or something at the PlayStation 5 Pro, and I'm like, I actually think the way I read those guys, whether it's Ollie or Ledbetter or the oh so handsome Alex or Linneman, sorry to the rest of the guys, I think Alex is a dish. But the thing is they seem like they're far more reserved on the front end, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, you know, that we shouldn't expect this or we should expect that, and then it shows up and they're like, oh wow, and that's when they're free to heap on the praise. I actually think that's the appropriate way to do it. I think that's a better way, instead of, if they go in the other direction of being like, this thing could be insane, it could be game changing, well, then they're going to have to dial that back if it doesn't quite hit the levels that they were hoping for or something. Do you see what I'm saying? The old ones are the ones that I miss because it came off as like breaking news from Lono. Hi, I just discovered your channel. Are you from another platform? No, I mean, I've been exclusive to YouTube for 4 years. I mean, I was on the Purple platform for a while, but, you know, and I'd love for them to have me back if we could get Dan Clancy's attention. But, you know, this is where we are. We're on YouTube, baby. and 25 months from Bumble Pants. Shout out to 666 viewers. No, we don't want to see that. And that's 92 members on the week. Silent Hill 2 is on the stage. If you want me to play it Friday, if you want my wife to play it Friday night, we're going to have to hit that goal. What do you think we'll start getting concrete upgrade details for Final Fantasy games on the Pro? Whoa, pause. Alex is a dish. Alex on Digital Foundry. Yeah, I think he's... I don't know. I don't know why, but I think he's handsome. Sorry, Alex. I'm happily married. I'm happily married with children. This is not an attempt. This is not an attempt. This is just me paying you a compliment. As far as the Final Fantasy games go, that is the one that I'm wanting to try initially, because every game is going to get the PS5 Pro game boost, and the first thing that I want to try is Final Fantasy 16. That's the first one, because I really thought the performance mode was super disappointing. You know, I pro Nader with 12 months, a whole year, watch every day, love the show. Hey, if you're paying for that membership, Pro Nader, you're in the perfect position to upgrade, and it'll count as 2 in the count. And then, if 5 people do it, I have to drop a 20 bomb if 5 people upgrade. So if you're paying for your own membership and you're not on Member Plus, it's $1 to bump up. Are you gay? No. I am straight and have always been straight, and I've just never had a problem complimenting a guy on his looks, right? I do have man crushes, right? Henry Cavill. If you don't have a man crush on Henry Cavill, there's something wrong with you. In any case, you know, I just have no problem saying if I think a guy's handsome. Yeah, that picture on his Twitter holding that gun with his head cocked to the side. Yeah, I mean, come on, he's handsome. I don't know what y'all are looking at. I think This stream is not supposed to be about Alex from Digital Foundry's good looks. I was just paying him a compliment in passing. That's all. I don't give an F about what everybody else says when it comes out. Mark Cerny's mouth. That's what I'm going to go by. Well, I'll admit something, okay? Mark Cerny, I like him, okay? He kind of looks like, you know, Dana Carvey doing a skit on SNL a little bit. But I don't know if putting him on camera and having him walk through all of those things, I don't know if that was like the best approach for how to announce this thing. But then in hindsight, I think it's actually served them rather well. The PlayStation 5 Pro trailer drops. It's not that impressive to the general public. It isn't. Now, for those of us that are like, you know, into console gaming and we want performance modes to be better and all we care about is frame rate, it like spoke to us. It was like, yes, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we want. Now, to the rest of the watching world, it was like, that doesn't look that great. You know? That doesn't look that great. And I actually think that was... Now, people are going to be like, that's copium. This pony's coping. I actually think this has worked in their favor, because instead of them coming out and screaming the thing's praises and touting it as amazing, which would just sound like a bunch of marketing fluff, which I think people naturally are skeptical whenever a company's like, this is going to be amazing. And you're like, yeah, sure it is. They're not the ones saying it. You've got outlets coming out and saying, this thing impressed me. It exceeded my expectations. I want one. That's a better, I think, endorsement. That's better marketing for your product than you yourself saying it. I think it holds more weight. It's so much more weighty to have a tech outlet saying, we played 11 games and I'm telling, and it's a big jump. This is like a generational leap in this game. And this game over here, this is game-changing. That I think is far more powerful and potent. Which is why my video today, the PS5 Pro is underestimated. I think that's all proof of that. It's like everybody underestimated. They're like, it's just going to be a mid-gen refresh. It's just going to be a gimmick for the hardcore guys. It's totally unnecessary. I mean, I talked about that in my video this morning. I literally said, listen, not long ago, it was literally just this year, in March, there were developers saying, I don't even know why we need a PS5 Pro. Now what are they saying? Do you see how that entire script completely flipped around? It went from, I don't really know why we need a PS5 Pro to, oh, this thing's great. It's awesome. The PSSR is impressive. Oh, we're PS5 Pro enhanced. I thought we didn't need it. I thought developers hadn't really tapped into the full power of the PS5 yet. I thought this thing was stupid. I thought this thing was DOA. Yeah, it goes back to Jim Ryan's "We'll let the games do the talking." It's kind of like that. It's like now you've got developers singing the thing's praises and saying, well, yeah, this tech's good. We leverage it. This thing's a rock star. This thing's awesome. So we went from, I don't know why this thing's here, I don't know why we need this, to we're PS5 Pro enhanced. I'd rather have a guy who just delivers what he's saying. You don't need some slick politician guy from the media who's in love but never delivers. I mean, I actually can agree with that to an extent. Yeah. You know, Cerny's just some somewhat nerdy engineer, and he comes out and he just talks turkey, and he's like, here you go, this is what we did. And then he just walks away. And you're like that was a little awkward. But at least, like you're saying, it's just straightforward and to the point. Guys, we almost have 300 likes. Smash that like button. Take a quick second and do the thumbs up thing. Do the thumbs up thing. And take a second and double check. Hit the $ at the bottom of the chat. See if you have a renewal. If you celebrate your renewal and you're Member Plus or VIP, you help us with the goal. Let's look at some of the comments here on the video. Everybody talked trash about the base PS5 back then. We all know how that turned out. Exactly. That's why I kept saying, what did I tell you guys? I said, these people are getting ahead of themselves. They got ahead of themselves about the Series S and the Series X and thinking that they were going to run circles around the PS5. And we all know how that turned out. You know? He comes out and we wonder where he's hiding the kidnapped school children. It's more, to me, it's more, to me, it's a little bit more like 1 hour photo, you know? You're kind of like, all right, where are the bodies, Mark? How many people have you killed, bro? You know what I mean? He kind of comes across as like that, you know, the glasses straightening, buttons all the way to the top, psychopath serial killer. You know, he kind of gives that air. You know? I was in a Chipotle once, and there was a guy eating by himself. He had like the old school, big, fat, square wire, like the classic nerdy glasses. He had a button-up shirt, and he had it buttoned up all the way to the top. He had his sleeves were like tight, and they were cuff buttoned, and he's eating his Chipotle with a really large glass of water by himself. He's like sitting up perfectly straight. Everything is very organized. And I was like, that's a serial killer. He's killed people. So right here, officer, this man, I would just start digging in his backyard. They're guaranteed minimum 3 bodies, minimum. No way. There's no way this guy doesn't have some bodies in his backyard. Either that or he was like, I don't know, a spy or his Secret Service or something. I don't know. He's undercover, you know, like the Equalizer. Maybe he's like old school, you know, secret forces. He does low-key look like a murderer. That's what I'm saying. The blonde hair. Well, yeah, the blonde hair, you're like, is that a wig? Are you in disguise? Is this a disguise? Are you hiding from the law? What is this? While some are focused on being sold a dream, others are making the dreams come true. What? That was kind of lame, but you get the point. Yeah, that was... I actually regret reading that. Like, I wish I had the ability to rewind time and get that one back, you know? Either that or he thinks the Series S is cutting edge. Was he eating with bone utensils? Lono wins with the 1 hour photo reference. Excellent film. Yeah. It's a very good film. And a member plus from Helio Lima. We're going to slow walk to 100. We're going to crawl to 100 this week, guys. You went insane last week. I guess everybody's taking a breather. We had over 700 members gifted or renewed or upgraded last week. And thank you, Helio Lima. 16 months, man. That's a lot. A broken clock is right twice a day. Cerny is such a clever guy, but he was responsible for Knack, which is even worse considering his origins at Naughty Dog in the Crash Bandicoot days. Well, not everybody can make great games, Maybe that's not his skill set, What do you think of Equalizer, the 80s TV show? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. The other, I don't know with the other aspect of what I talked about in the video is the growing number of games that are going for the PS5 Pro Enhanced label. What do you guys think? I want to know what you think on this one, because I do think you're going to see more Xbox games get the label. I do. Now, I don't know about Indiana Jones, but I really do feel like Black Ops 6 and Doom the Dark Ages, those are two very, very good candidates for the label, especially Doom, right? How do you think they handle that? Is it something that they let, id Software announce? Is it announced in a blog? Is it announced by the official game Twitter? Is it announced by Xbox? Number one, I guess we could have the discussion if more games are going to do it, but I feel like the minute Diablo 4 said, yes, we're doing this, it's mandatory. No, it's not mandatory. That's simply untrue. I'm not sure where that's coming from. PlayStation is not requiring you to have the label to be on their platform. No. You will automatically be PS5 Pro game boosted no matter what you do. No matter what you do, you get the game boost. But they're not requiring developers to get the label. I've not seen that stated anywhere. I've seen people claim it, but that's not been stated anywhere official by PlayStation. Anybody with sources. I mean, hey, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this. Are there reports? Are there any indications that this is a requirement? Because I don't think that it is. I think going forward, they have to support it. Like, they have to ensure that their game works on the Pro. Like, they can't just make it for the PS5 and not do any testing for the Pro. But, yeah. Did he say Diablo? I did. Donnie, when someone says Diablo, do you wake up in a cold sweat wishing it was better? Taking your fist. Lono, one day. I'm sorry. Path of Exile 2 is going to be better, Donnie. Just accept it. Sony requires you to support the Pro, but you're not required to get Pro Enhanced. Basically, you can't make a PS5 game that doesn't work on the Pro. Yeah. So Eugene just put in chat what I was saying. Exactly. Didn't Xbox confirm they will support the Pro? I mean, they did. They did, but they also didn't, right? Like, Rod Ferguson came out and said that Diablo 4 will, But I don't necessarily think that's Xbox officially saying that they're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's not Xbox saying, oh no, our devs are going to support the Pro. That's just Rod Ferguson saying, oh no, yeah, Diablo 4 is going to be PS5 Pro Enhanced. I think that's a little bit different. That's why I'm asking you guys, what do you think? How are they going to handle this? It's tricky, Lono. As you said, Sony doesn't want to disparage the base PS5. Do what they did with the PS4 Pro. The label is there for those in the know. Gamers like us will follow this stuff. Yeah, it'll be a label in the store. Not only that, it won't just be a label in the store, but it'll also be something that the games are out here promoting. Like Liza P tweeted it, and they said, "Hey, we're PS5 Pro." And a 5-bomb from Sheriff Bruce Lee takes us to 98. you guys are going to have to pick up the slack because MASH and some of the other big boys, they're probably taking the week off. Many hands make light work. If we get a 5-bomb train, we could hit any goal we want. There are so many people here. Thank you so much for that support, Sheriff Bruce Lee. Even a single gifted train. We've done single gifted trains in the 60s before, 60 some odd in a row. Let's see it. Or just upgrade. That's an easy way. Now, if you're like, hey, I can't afford a membership, I can't afford to upgrade, I appreciate the gifteds. We appreciate you being here. Keep listening, keep lurking, and keep liking. That keeps the lights on. That's how we do this. You guys showing up every day, that keeps the channel humming. Thank you for doing that. And then that's honestly how you get the gifteds. The more often you're here, the more often that it happens. Yeah, MASH with the 10-bomb. Yeah, I think MASH is taking a week off, boys. I don't think the Nat games were as terrible as they got memed for being. I'm just saying they didn't hold a candle to the OG Crash franchise. That's all, no hate. Phil will let the individual devs announce that they'll be pro enhanced, just like they let the devs announce that they're going to PlayStation. Yeah, I think John Always has got probably the best and most... That's the most likely to be accurate prediction I've seen, John, is that it's like, well, they let the studios announce they're coming to PlayStation. They'll do the same thing with PS5 Pro Enhanced. Xbox won't touch it. Phil won't touch it. Now, Phil will take questions in interviews about it, and he'll say, if I'm Phil Spencer, if I try to be Phil Spencer, he'll say something to the effect of, we always want to support our creatives and our creators to do what they think is the best for their product, and giving them that freedom is better for everybody. He'll say something like that. He'll say something to the extent of giving them the freedom, empowering our devs to do more, and giving more to the players is something that we think helps everybody. He'll say something like that. If somebody asks him about that, hey, you know, your first party studios are doing PS5 Pro enhancements and getting the label. You know, what's the thought process behind that? And that's probably what he'll say. Rice Eater with a $5 super chat tip says, Digital Foundry jumped off a bridge when the Pro was first announced, saying GTA 6 would only be $30. Digital Foundry tends to Sony tech prowess. Will they be wrong again? I think you meant to say they tend to underestimate, maybe. Listen, I like Richard Ledbetter, but I have argued in other places that I find his reasoning and his logic about GTA 6 being 30 FPS, I find the reasoning and the logic to be wanting. I don't find it to be that compelling. His argument is every GTA up to now has launched at 30. The history of GTA is at a time where that was the more standard frames per second. There were 60 FPS games back then, but it was a different time. It was a different era. Any game that was at that size, any game that was doing that type of gameplay was at 30 FPS. I mean, most of us started switching to PC for Destiny. If you're still from that Destiny community, a bunch of us literally switched to PC because the standard back then, 2017 and back, was more commonly that a game would be 30. Yes, there were 60 FPS games, but that's why I don't find his reasoning and his logic to be all that compelling. It's like, Richard, that wasn't even a consideration back then. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we should make our game 60 FPS. If you made a game that was large, that was open world, that was fast paced, that was first person, all those games. Now, yeah, side scrollers, 2D games like that, you probably have some 60s. There's games like Titanfall and others that were hitting 60 earlier than others. But again, it wasn't the commonality. Now, the expectation has changed. People expect to get two modes. They want a fidelity, they want a performance. Mark Cerny said it. 3 out of 4 people are picking performance mode. You think Rockstar's in the dark on that? I think they know too. People want 60. They added 60 to GTA 5 on next gen. There's a rumor they're going to be adding 60 to Red Dead 2. So if that's true, then they clearly know this is a priority. And if you walk out in 2025 and you try to justify 30 FPS, you're going to look the same way that they looked with Starfield and Redfall and Avowed. Everyone's going to groan and go, what? Now, GTA's a monster. It's a Leviathan. It's like monolithic in the gaming world. It's not going to necessarily hurt the game commercially, but it certainly will not help. It's like, wow. What a step back in time to launch a game at 30. So I don't think there's anything wrong with what Richard Ledbetter said. I just didn't think the logic and the reasoning was that concrete based on the time frame of when all those GTA games came out. I respect him and all the boys at Digital Foundry. I think they do good work. But I think when it comes to analysis, they're lock in step. They do good analysis. When it comes to predictions, they haven't been that great with predictions. They really misfired on the Xbox Series X and the Series S and the Power versus the PS5. If you go back and look, they got a lot of the predictions on that wrong. That's totally fine if they come back around and they do the analysis and they say, wow, this went beyond my expectations. Like, I have respect for the fact that, like they're doing right now with the Pro, they're like, this thing is exceeding our expectation. This is going beyond what I expected. This is going beyond what we thought we were going to get. Do you see? I don't mind if somebody makes a prediction and then the prediction falls a little low, off target, or doesn't happen. And if they own that, I got respect for that. I respect a person or an outlet that can own that. So much of what's wrong right now with gaming journalism, which is basically an oxymoron because we don't really have any gaming journalism. We have bloggers who farm AdSense with, really, really well-structured, headlines to get you to click. You don't really have investigative journalism. I mean, you got like Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, and that's about it. But even then, you're still going to be dealing with biases and slants. You're never going to get anything that's pure. That's almost impossible anyway. But the point is because of that, I think a lot of the times people forget there's a difference between a prediction and a pronouncement. There's a categorical difference between, like, Digital Foundry makes a prediction, and these guys that make pronouncements. Oh, that's a waste of money. You could build a PC for the same amount of money and it'd be stronger. That's a pronouncement. That's not a prediction. And it's wrong. See, pronouncements can be falsified. So can predictions. But predictions are falsified with time. Pronouncements are falsified with facts. So if you're going to try to falsify a prediction, well, you got to wait for the thing to happen. If, like, let's say I go out and I say, Doom the Dark Ages will be PS5 Pro Enhanced. Okay. You can falsify that with time. Just enough time. It'll come out and it'll either be it or not. Right? If I say, that game doesn't run at 60 FPS. Well, that's a pronouncement. You can falsify that with facts. You can run a benchmark. You can run a test. And you can prove me wrong. I think you have to have those categories in your mind. Is this person making a prediction that is then falsified with time, or are they making a pronouncement that can be falsified with facts? Omar says, I think his logic centers also more around how Rockstar attempts to simulate in their open worlds, and based on what is there in the trailer, that it is CPU intensive more than the GPU. Sure, that's the other part of his prediction, Omar, but I take his prediction as a whole package. That's why I think it's wanting. I don't think he's necessarily wrong, or I don't think he said anything that he shouldn't have said. I think what he said was fine. It was like, well, based on the pattern, based on what we've seen, it'll probably be a CPU-intensive game that'll be 30 FPS on the PS5 Pro, because the PS5 Pro doesn't have a stronger CPU than the PlayStation 5. Again, to be fair to him, it's just presumption on presumption on presumption. It's just presumption stacked on top of each other. And that's totally fine. That's how you make a prediction. You presume a lot, and then you say, in light of all of this, I think this is going to happen. Now, some predictions are not based on presumption. Some predictions are based on facts. Here's a prediction based on a fact. Diablo 4 is an Xbox first-party title, one of their bigger titles. It's a tentpole title. It was one of the first ABK games to come to Game Pass, and it'll be PS5 Pro Enhanced. In light of that fact, I'm predicting other Xbox-owned studios will get PS5 Pro Enhanced labels. See, there's no presumption there. It's just, here's a fact, and that's I'm predicting based off of the fact. I'll add that they've repeated over and over that they aren't saying that definitively, and that people took the quote and ran with it. Yeah, I think we want to do a video about, there's people that argue that Digital Foundry is bad for gaming. I do not agree. And that's something I think that's going to come out of that video, is a lot of what Digital Foundry says gets weaponized. They make a passing remark or a passing prediction, and people are like, yes, I can use this. And they grab it like a bat, and they go on Twitter, and they go, wham, wham. Yeah, ponies, your PS5 Pro is going to suck. Pfft, Digital Foundry says that GTA 6 is going to be 30 FPS. Suck it, ponies. And it's like, it was like a passing observation. They didn't say anything definitively. But you're so desperate to have your viewpoint affirmed that it's a personal vendetta when they say that. Yeah, it'll be a 2-hour-long video, and some guy will ask a question like that, and they'll be like, a 20-second response gets turned into, you know, a baseball bat on Twitter war. Like, you know, this is what they said. You guys are... Like the thing with they're saying now about... There's a passing remark about the VRR. It's like, yep, Series X is better than the Pro. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I appreciate their work. They educate people and they give constructive feedback. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you. This guy just spammed a bunch of ponies. Right on. LOL. I don't even care anymore, bro. You say it. I don't care. Name calling is for the weak, bro. PC groupies and Xbots are melting down on Twitter. The truth is that we do not know yet. What do you mean we don't know? One of the most reliable and most authoritative outlets on these issues have had hands-on with the thing multiple times. What do you mean we don't know yet? Yo, the Anime Zoe with 34 months of memberships. Welcome back, dude. Almost 3 years. Guys, make sure and bump up to Member Plus. You'll count in the total. And you count as a double when you upgrade. Let me check the back end. If you guys ever upgrade and it doesn't let you celebrate it, tell me. I can check the back end. We're 2 away from 100 members. And... Nitro Fusion, did you? Oh no, you did that yesterday. That's right. You said something in the Discord to me about. I'm not in the Discord. You said something in the members only stream about it. I do wonder if the PS5 Pro will have better VRR than the base. Would be nice, but I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned about VRR as much. I'm more concerned about the upscaling, the ray tracing, and what it means for performance modes. I would prefer game company... I'm going to say it this way, Eugene. I'm kind of glad because I don't want game devs to lean on VRR. I would rather them optimize and hit 60. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's almost like it can be a good and a bad thing, same as frame gen, like we've seen with Black Myth Wukong. You can take technology and lean on it to the point that it's bad. It's like, no, now, I'm not saying that's what they would do, but I'm saying, like, I don't really care that much about VRR. I care way more about leveraging the upscaling, getting better ray tracing so that I can hit 60 and my game looks better. That's what I care about. VRR, it's like, okay, if a game's having to lean on VRR, the Pro shouldn't need better VRR because the Pro shouldn't be dropping below that threshold. That's another way of saying what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not buying the Pro for better VRR. I'm buying the Pro so that I get 60 in my games. Now, I've gotten 60 in all of my first-party PlayStation games this gen, but I haven't gotten it from the third-party, specifically Rise of the Ronin and Final Fantasy 16. So I'm not like, oh yeah, you better give me better VRR. If the Pro is dropping below the threshold, something is wrong. Precisely. if you get the PS5 Pro Enhanced label and you're not maintaining 60, then to me, I want to know what's going on. Now, an example of that is Dragon's Dogma 2. We already know that, like, it's going to need some level of VRR to clean up some of those areas, but overall, I'm okay with a game like Dragon's Dogma 2 going to town. Maybe it's a little stuttery, maybe it's a little framey, but then when I get out in the main world and I'm doing my other things, if it's maintaining 60, I don't give a frick. I'm good. I am good. Like, Final Fantasy 16 was so egregious, I just stopped playing. I was like, I'm waiting. This is bad. Like, going to town or exploring was just like, but that's just what it feels like. It literally feels like it's skipping. It looks like a flip book. And then when I'm in combat, I'm like, this is amazing. It's such a juxtaposition. It's more noticeable because it's such a big swing. Dropping into the 50s in town, I'd be okay with that. I'm like, yeah, it's not a big deal. You know, I'm not in combat. I'm not out in the world. Like, it's not immersion breaking to have some frame dropping in town. Here's a tweet from Digital Foundry. Today on Digital Foundry, we take a look at the preview code for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart on the PS5 Pro, stacking up PSSR against the standard console modes. They just released it. So, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart PS5 Pro versus PS5 image quality face-off. I'm confident it'll be... I'm confident it'll probably be pretty good. Because Insomniac are dadgum wizards. Well, that's funny. Make a shirt that says, this pony lives in stable 60 FPS. Okay, that's actually a very, very funny joke. That's not bad. That's not bad. I wanted to start a podcast. Called... I think the name that I came up with was Green Stables or something like that. Right? No, the Green Stable. It was going to be called the Green Stable. Basically, a meeting place for the ponies and the green side to just have some good discussions and to be friendly to one another. Right? It was sort of going to hearken to, you know, if I branded it like the prancing pony in Lord of the Rings. Right? You're going to steal that? If somebody steals it, I guess I'll be angry. But I thought that would be cool. Like, welcome to the Green Stable, you know. And maybe even have it be like a pub. Like, if you come, you got to have a beer in your hand. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to talk video games. And we're all going to get along. Quit the name calling. Quit being jerks. Right? Let's all unblock each other. And let's chart a better course for this gaming world that we all live in. Like, quit attacking me, quit putting me in your videos. Like, why can't we just be friends? Why does it have to be this way, you know? You wanted the Activision merger, I didn't, and I became everybody's enemy overnight. And I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? What was the point of all of that? You know? What was the point of all of that? Ghostface with 26 months in a VIP. Finally got power back, just stopping by to say hi, and he bumps the line to 99. Just gonna hang there at 100. I owe you 10. The Green Stable. That's right. I don't think we live in a world now where GTA 6 can even properly exist. Not in the way that GTA used to be. They weren't afraid to stereotype a fan because of comedy. GTA 6 is going to be so safe. Hang on a minute. Okay. I want to reread that. Mike, did we watch the same trailer? Did we watch the same trailer, brother? Because I saw an awful lot of stereotypes. I mean, I just, because, you know, you got people in, you know, mud and, you know, America bikini, you know, you got people twerking on the top of cars. I don't know, dude. It seemed like they were okay. with dealing in stereotypes. Did we watch the same trailer? Yo, Mike on the mic does it. There it is. The first 100 of the week. We needed that on Monday. You guys can do it. You can. You fell behind last week and you went crazy. We can do it again. I owe you a 10 bomb. Brooklyn Breed wants to know who would be invited. Anybody who agrees to the terms. Anybody who agrees to the terms. Right? All are welcome. All are welcome in the green stable. You got to come with a beer in hand and a handshake in the other. That's it. That's the rules. It was just an idea I had a long time ago. I was trying to think of a show that I would do with Porter Rock and Doc Dark. I thought that would be fun. You know, throw them in the ring once a week or once a month or something and just let them go back and forth, right? And I would just sit back and watch. You know. Yeah. You can't just invite anyone to the stable. Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, there are definitely people that would probably have to make amends. I mean, there are people that have done nothing but you know, I would say there's been a lot of people that have crossed lines and have been kind of nasty, and I wouldn't want them on the show. You know. We have booty clapping on top of cars and everything. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully Rockstar thinks they don't think that we're too big to fail and they go hard on being offensive and slapstick as they used to be. Here's the thing though, Mike. Here's the thing. I do not necessarily think that that is the crux of what makes GTA great. Like, let's say that's toned down a little bit. I'm sure there are people that will scream and screech and maul and seethe and say, they've gone woke. Sure, Jan. That trailer really emanated wokeness. I'm sure people will do that. But I don't think that, like, takes the quality of the game down if they tone down some of that stuff. That's not the only thing that makes the game good. If the open world is awesome and diverse and the action's cool and the story's dope and like it looks really good and it performs really well and the gameplay loop's really satisfying, you're like, yeah, but there weren't enough offensive jokes. In the last game, there was an offensive joke approximately every 12.2 minutes, and in this game, I gotta wait 30 minutes for an offensive joke. It's like, I don't think that's necessarily the crux of what makes GTA so good. It's like, oh, I'm not going to buy it if there aren't enough offensive jokes. I got an offensive joke quota. GTA wasn't trying to be offensive. It was satire. They didn't go out of their way to offend people. Yeah, I'm not familiar with all of the stories and the history of the game, but I really, really don't think that's going to be like to the game's detriment if there's like less in your face, over the line, offensive commentary. You know what I mean? I really don't think that's going to be this big dilemma. I'm sure it's going to be a huge talking point. I really do. That's literally one of the easiest ways to make content right now is to grab a bad screenshot, grab a weird quote, grab somebody's LinkedIn and yell woke. Like, that's a great, easy way to make money right now. You know? You got some cool shirts. Where do you get them? This is from my personal collection. I have partnered with t-shirt companies before in the past, and I actually think this one did come from 80s Tees, and I still think my code works over there. We stopped promoting 80s Tees because their prices went up so high. It was like $40-something for a shirt. I don't know if he's brought his prices back down, but it was crazy. It looks like a lot of them are now in the 28 range, 28 to 30 range. I think my code still works over there. I believe that's where this came from. Let's see. Yeah, my code still works at 80s Tees. Whatever that is. I forget. I think it was 30% off. Yeah, it's 30% off. Yeah, you can use code LONE over there. So it looks like some of his shirts have come down in price. I was seeing a lot of $28 and $30 shirts, and my code takes like $12 off, you know, 10 or $12 off. So that's not bad. Pandering to discontent is the easiest way to grift in the gaming space. Lots of miserable people looking to hear that they're not alone. For sure. And I think that it's overwhelming. You know, it's overwhelming the feeds right now. It's a gold rush, you know. I think that content is going to fizzle out because I think they're all doing it. Every thumbnail looks the same. Every video is repeating the same things and the same talking points, and it's like, yeah, that's going to burn out, you know. This guy says a PlayStation Pro console that actually targeted professionals, the average Joe are just complaining they can't afford one, is often ignored too. Yeah, the PS5 trade-in is often ignored too in the conversation. It's like, you can trade in at GameStop and the upgrade is way, way more reasonable. That was another thing I think that kept getting forgotten in the discussion, was this isn't as simple as, you know, this isn't as simple as, oh, it's $700. It's like, well, if you have a PS5 right now, not necessarily. You could trade in and shave off somewhere between what were people getting? There was some pretty good trade-in value. I don't know where it is right now, but there was some pretty good trade-in value on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm sorry, on a standard PlayStation to get the PS5 Pro. It's like $330 right now. I was going to say it was somewhere between $300 and $400. Now it's gone down because more and more people are doing it. $350. Yeah, I saw some people with a little bit more, a little bit less. Let's just say $300. $300 is pretty nice to shave off, turning it into like a $400 purchase. Like, that's not bad at all. Especially if you already have the slim disk drive, because it's interchangeable. So you might already have the disk drive. Now, if you have the standard, you know, that's a little bit more. Don't buy a PS5 Pro, buy a PC that'll cost you thousands. Here's what I think happened there. Here's my theory on why a lot of the PC guys couldn't conceive of spending $700, but then they'll turn around and start promoting video cards for that much or more. Right? A single thing for that much or more. I think there's two versions of what happened. In one version, I think there's a lot of PC guys who have a pretty good rig, and for them, $700 is, well, I could finally get that video card I want. Man, you'd be stupid to buy that console for that much. Because they're looking in the framework of, I've got all this invested, I've got this rig, I've got this library. Why on earth would you do that? So I think when they're looking at it through that lens, they just don't have the ability to see it differently. So that's one way that it happened. Another way that it happened is, I genuinely think you have people that have zero clue what they're talking about. They just thought the hubris of the PC Master Race just blinded their minds. It was just this like, what the frick? A console? Can you imagine a console at $700? Can you imagine the gall? The ego to charge $700? It's like they're insulted by the fact that like these little measly consoles are going to be that expensive. So I definitely think there are people that were just completely blinded and couldn't think, and they didn't even take a second to say, wait, what's the performance? It's going to do what? Well, my PC doesn't do that. Plenty of these guys have PCs that don't even hit the thresholds that this thing is advertising. Now, some of the outlets do. They've got like the best of the best. They've got a budget to buy new hardware anytime the new hardware drops, right? Like, they're really, really big channels. But plenty of these guys don't even have rigs that could achieve some of the thresholds we were seeing. So I think there's two things in the mix. I actually have more respect for the guy that's like, I don't know why you would do that. I've got a PC, I've got a library, and I could upgrade my video card for about that much, and it would be a significant better investment for me. Like, they're just struggling to see things from the other side of the fence. I think the drunk on hubris ignoramus who's out here saying you should buy a $1,400 PC that's not as strong, or, oh, I could build a PC that's comparable for the same price, and then they don't, or they can't, or they have to use refurbed parts, or they have to use used parts, which is laughable. Like, those people are not to be taken serious. They're clowns. They don't know what they're talking about. Nobody with any shred of credibility is out here saying, yeah, you can build a $700 PC and it'll match the performance. I mean, even a recent batch of videos from Doc Dark on his Walmart PC that he upgraded the memory, I think. Even he was running into issues with, what was it, Ratchet and Clank, I think? It's like, yeah, of course. You didn't buy like a future-proofed rig. You didn't buy a rig that was going to be able to have an anvil of performance thrown at it. Of course it's going to have issues. I mean, there's that video of was it Linus Tech Tips, and they've got their rig and the PlayStation 5 playing Ratchet, and he keeps crashing and he has to keep restarting. And it's like, wow, what a compelling video for me to not do a PC. What are you doing? Like, so I think there's people on all sides of the spectrum there. And I just think a lot of people, they struggle to see things from the other side because to them, that's the dumbest thing you could possibly do. When I'm on Twitch, I constantly see people in chat talking about how they're having problems with games performing, and most of them have crappy PCs. Right, like, you're well within your right. You can do this. You can go buy, a PC from Walmart, or you can buy a pre-built from Best Buy or Amazon or whatever. But if you're going to go buy the $800 to $900 rig, I guarantee you're going to run into some of the issues that we're seeing, because it's just like, that thing is not built for what you're trying to do. It's built for you to run everything at like 1080 medium, and you start trying to crank it to ultra, or you start trying to crank it to 4K, or you start trying to turn on ray tracing. That's when you're going to start to encounter problems. It's not like it's going to crash or burn or explode. It's just like, you're probably not going to get the most stable performance. You didn't buy something for that. That's the beauty of something like the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's like, I can buy it and I know that this is the target. This is what the devs are going after, and I'm going to get that largely, most of the time, in a very stable way. That, to me, is why it's being underestimated, because it's being viewed in a context where you're not even really having a good point of comparison. You don't have a good point of comparison, because even if you buy a really, really good PC and you really choose the right parts and you really skimp and you look for sales and you get it for, I don't know, $1,200 or $1,000, you're like, this is still a better purchase for me. You still don't have a direct one-to-one comparison. And because of that, it's like, well, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about a direct one-to-one comparison, because this thing is promoting this, offering this, and the devs are already singing its praises, and they're already hitting the targets that I wanted to see. Case closed. Conversation over. I want one. Like, it's that simple. Guys, take a quick second and smash the like button, man. We have had a great turnout today. Over 700 people here. If we get to 400 likes, that would be huge. That'd be so helpful. We only need about 50 of you to hit the like button right now. If you haven't renewed your membership, see if you've got a renewal to celebrate. We're at 100 members already on the week. I'm all paid up. I did the 10 bomb that I owed you. And use that upgrade command. Exclamation point upgrade will take you to where you can upgrade your membership. And if 5 of you do it in a day, I will drop a 20 bomb on chat. I will bless the chat. And right now, the gauntlet is, if this hits 200, I'm dropping a 50. Dropping a 50 bomb. And then 300 and beyond. So you guys can keep rolling it. Put up that bat signal. Get some of those boys to come in here and start going crazy. Only concern about modern Rockstar is that all the writers who worked on GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 left, and we haven't seen what the new writing team is capable of. Wait, is that accurate? Someone is claiming that all of the writers on GTA 5 and Red Dead left. Every writer, all of them, the whole team. Is it true that Sony hasn't released official specs of the Pro because AMD hasn't released info on the chip that the Pro is using? I actually don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting on. I don't know. What did they do with the PlayStation 5? Did they release the specs ahead of time? I don't remember. I didn't really pay attention to that stuff back then. I watched the trailers and the announcements. I was at E3 in 2019, sitting looking at the monitors on the stage where we were hosting, watching the Project Scarlet marketing. Like, that's what I always watch. I just watched the trailers. I didn't look for the specs. Yo, what's good, Citizen JV? How are you? Bless us, Lord Lono. Hey, I will. You guys can make me play Silent Hill. I'll tell you what. I'll sweeten the deal. We don't got to hit stretch. If you guys can hit this week, I know it's tough week to week to hit it. We'll still do Friday night. We're going to do Friday afternoon and Friday night. You're going to get 2 for 1. I'll give you a 2 for 1 special this week. The Last of Us Part 2 story is incomplete. Why are you bringing that up? Is somebody talking about that? Oh, you're saying The Last of Us Part 3 must happen? Yeah, it's going to happen for sure. For sure. I was waiting to play Silent Hill 2 on the Pro. I've been saying for years that if consoles shifted to making all games require mouse and keyboard mappings, that I'd be gaming mostly on a console. Yo, what's good, Derek? Hope you're well. Here's a question for Lono, he says. If we were shown equivalent specs at the exact price point, and it was called the Xbox Series 1080X1, then I think the haters would sing a different tune. Wait, so I'm trying to understand what you're saying. You're saying equivalent specs and the same price point, and Xbox was doing it. It'd be different? Silent Hill 2 is crazy good. You guys can make me play it Friday afternoon and then Madam play it Friday night. You're going to have to hustle, though. You're running out of time. You're going to have to do it all on one day like last week, and that's tough to do. I'm doing everything I can to help. Silent Hill 2 is definitely one of those games I'm waiting to play on the Pro. Yeah, it had some performance issues, so I was waiting. The circumstances surrounding Unsworth's apparent departure aren't yet clear, but it could be that he's simply joining another key Rockstar figure, such as a co-founder. Yeah, did we get any information on that claim? You guys are... Hang on a second. Excuse me. Did we get any concrete information on all of the writers leaving? Yeah, what's a source? Where was that reported? I mean, I'll go to Google right now. By the way, all members, the question, command, and Q is clear. So, feel free. Yet another games veteran has left the company. So, Unsworth left in August of 2023. Laszlo Jones reveals more on leaving Rockstar Games. That was in 2024. That's one of the former writers left here. Laszlo Jones. Grand Theft Auto mastermind Dan Houser leaves Rockstar Games. So he left back in 2020. In 2020, what Grand Theft Auto writers leaving means for GTA 6. All right, hang on a second here. One of the driving forces behind were its co-founders, Dan and Sam Houser. In February, Dan Houser announced he would be stepping down from his vice president role and be leaving the company. So he wasn't a writer then. He was a vice president. Huge part of the series. Sam is executive producer. Dan was one of the core creative forces in the series. The studio's had its fair share of problems, including long-standing reports of crunch. Multiple games are in development. Both of these writers are still working with Rockstar. They'll likely have a large impact on GTA 6. The absence of Dan. Hang on. Houser. Okay, so it says here, Houser was joined by Rupert Humphreys and Michael Unsworth. There's the guy, one of the guys that left later too. But Rupert Humphreys, is he still there? Considering both of these writers are still working with Rockstar, they're likely going to have a huge impact on GTA 6. So I'm not seeing every writer has left. I'm seeing that in 2020, Vice President left, and then more recently a writer left. Did Humphreys leave as well? Laszlo Jones left. I'm not seeing evidence that like all of the writers have left though. It seems like some have, and it wasn't all at once. GTA 6 speculation and conversation would be a great show for you. Lots to unpack and debate. It's not really my game, and I don't really care. So, no, I'm not interested. I probably won't even play it for that long. It's just not my kind of game. And I don't care. I don't care to go research the writers leaving. Seriously, it doesn't matter to me. Rockstar always delivers. I don't know why people are doubting them now. It didn't take 12 years. They were working on Red Dead 2. People always look to scaremonger. You know. This guy says the jump is minimal to the eyes. I mean, that's subjective and not backed by any of the tech analysis. The tech analysis is that it's game-changing. The tech analysis is that it's far exceeding expectations. So, that's not true. It's just not true. GTA 6 game size will be big, minimum 90 gig. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in GTA 6 from an industry standpoint. I'm not interested in it from a game standpoint. I'm just not. My favorite game genre, it's always moving. I think right now my favorite is like the open world action adventure game, like Ghost of Tsushima. I think that style of game is like my favorite right now, but I'm growing to like more linear games. You know, a more straightforward game. Like when I played Rise of the Ronin, the whole time I was thinking, I really wish this was a little bit more linear and straightforward, like Final Fantasy 16 or Stellar Blade. So like having a favorite genre is tough because I've kind of bounced around. Like there was a time where I loved looter shooters. I don't know if I do anymore. Like I just feel like it was kind of like my experience with Call of Duty. I played Call of Duty, the first one, all the way to Black Ops 3. That was primarily what I played. And then I was like, dude, I just don't want to play this anymore. And then I played, Destiny for such a long time and then had a bad falling out with that company and game. And it's like, I just don't know if I'm a big looter shooter guy anymore. Like, I think you'd really have to do something special to get me to come back and put the time in. Like whatever the next Borderlands, however it lands. And even the open world genre, even that genre, I can get a little burned on it. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to go check every nook and cranny and find every flower and find every cave. I kind of move from genre to genre sometimes. Like right now I'm really looking for co-op roguelikes to play with my wife. I really like co-op games with her. I really like rogues all of a sudden, and I used to not like them at all. So Red Dead's incredible. You should play it if it gets the 60 patch. Yeah, I loved Red Dead. What's funny is I played Red Dead 2 when I was a Destiny streamer and had a lot of fun with it, but I don't know if I ever finished it because we had to get back to Destiny. Destiny would drop a season or a DLC, and like that took up all of my time anytime that happened. It was just, that's all that mattered. Anytime that game would rhythmically do something, anything else I was doing would get bumped, So thank you to all of the new subscribers today. If you came from the upload, a lot of you are subscribing on the upload. Thank you so much. I uploaded a video today called The PS5 Pro Has Been Underestimated and walked through a variety of ways kind of backing my opinion on that. And then this is a segment called Gaming News Today. So anything going on, you guys can also submit questions as members if you want. You can use the question command. That is a feature that is made available to you. So that's kind of the format right now, is trying to do an upload that's more on the opinion side of things, and then coming here to Gaming News Today to just talk about all of the various gaming news. And we've got a question. This is what it looks like when you're a member and you submit a question. We can have it pop up just like this on the screen. Tamer Spoon says, thoughts on Until Dawn live action movie having better performance than the remaster? Yeah, the remaster is such an interesting situation. I don't know why PlayStation would allow an IP that they own to be so mistreated. I think it's embarrassing. It's like when they brought The Last of Us to PC and the port was terrible. I don't know why they did that. So, yeah, I mean, I think the movie could be great. I mean, especially if they get the cast. Like, I don't know if I think Hayden Panettiere is like the one who hinted at its existence. But if you get her and like Rami Malek, I mean, they've got a really, really great cast that they could utilize. I mean, you do a trailer with her walking around in a towel, and you're going to get a lot of people to be like, yo, what's this? Like, there'll be people that will want to see the movie. You know, she spends a good portion of the game in a towel. So, and, and people like scary, people like scary movies. It could be really, really good. The audience seems to be enjoying the remake. I thought it had a bunch of performance problems. I know they pushed out a patch. Until Dawn remake PlayStation Store. It did not have a good score on the on Steam. It's PS5 Pro Enhanced, and that's a 4.54 on the PlayStation Store. That's interesting. Is it primarily issues on the PC version or something? I don't understand. You think the Pro is worth $700 without the disc drive and the stand? I mean, it being worth money is subjective to every consumer. I personally wish that they would have included the stand and the disc drive. Not including the stand and the disc drive is kind of an Apple move, but what are you going to do? I mean, it's a product that's in demand. You have to look at it from the business's perspective. The business knows, Sony knows, the people that want this thing are not going to refuse to buy simply because we didn't put in a disc drive or a stand. Like, they know that. And every good business knows you want to maximize your profit on your device. This is why when you go and buy sneakers or a pair of jeans, they were made in some other country at the lowest cost possible because they're trying to maximize profit on what they're selling you. You don't think Sony's trying to milk it now because everyone seems to think it but you? Oh, everybody but me. Sure. Don't get me wrong. I own a PS5, but spending $700 or turning my PS5 in and spending another $400. So everyone but me. So it was the number one selling console on Amazon in 7 different regions or something like that? But just me? I'm the only one? And I'm the only one. Am I the only one that thinks that let me ask you something. Is there a single clip or video of me defending the $700 price point? Have I said that the $700 price point's totally fine, totally fair? Have I said that that's how it should be? Scalpers? Really? Can you show me all the PS5s, all the PS5 Pros listed on the scalping websites? You know what's funny about the theory from folks like you who think that it's just scalpers buying it? Let's just track the logic here. It's not selling out. It's not selling out. It's not in demand. It's not even selling out. Who are the scalpers going to sell to? Who? Who are they selling to? It's available right now for $700. So who is going to buy it from a scalper? So defunct and terrible theory. It's not just the scalpers. One of the probably most uninformed and ignorant theories you could have about the PS5 Pro. Okay? So, no. It's not just the scalpers. Anybody saying that is woefully uninformed. So if you've been told that by, somebody on YouTube or Twitter, they're just lying to you. It's not just the scalpers, because who are the scalpers going to frickin' sell to? It's available on almost every outlet. Secondly, if it's too expensive, then the market won't bear it. The market is bearing it. So that's what I've always said about the price. Now, if you go back to all of my coverage of the Pro when it was announced, you will find I was critical of the lack of a disk drive. When they took the vertical stand out of the new versions of the PS5, I was critical of them doing that as well. See, but the problem is you're coming in with a pre-baked assumption about me because you've watched content about me instead of coming and talking to me. So you've made a fatal mistake. You've either seen Twitter clips or seething, malding rage baiters on YouTube calling me a pony. I was critical when they took the vertical stand out of the standard PlayStation 5. I was critical of the PS5 Pro not having the disk drive. You don't know that because you didn't come to me. You would rather let somebody tell you about me than come and talk to me. You've watched my content? Well, apparently you've not watched enough because you came in and said, you're the only one that's okay with a $700 price point. I predicted $600. I was shocked at the $700 and was critical at the lack of a disk drive. So, I don't know where you're getting your information then. It looks to me like the only chat you engaged with about the PS5 Pro with me was the 30 FPS discussion. And you said at the time, you said, I don't think saying $700 for digital only rip and no stand. I was in agreement with you back then. I would have agreed with you. You wouldn't have received disagreement. So why are you coming in here and running a narrative that's not accurate about me? You were literally here on a day we were talking about the Pro, and you brought up the price point and the lack of a stand. And every single time that has come up, I have agreed with people and been like, I do not like when a company charges more and takes things out of the box. They're posturing like Apple, and I don't like that. But they're in the power to do it. What are you going to stop them? How are you going to stop them? With you and what you're saying, except the self-serving idea that loads of YouTubers are making content about Reforge Gaming for their 1 million subs. I'm not sure what you mean. Exactly. Chat logs are so wonderful. We're in agreement. Right. So if we're in agreement, then why did you come in and ask this question? Do you really think the Pro is worth $700 without the drive and stand? Apparently, you already knew my opinion on that. And it says here, everybody, you said this, everyone seems to see this but you. Everybody sees it but me, that they're just milking us. I own a PS5, but spending $700 and turning in my PS5 and spending another $400. If you make more content about how it's ridiculous. Okay. So, if we're in agreement about the lack of a stand and lack of a disk drive, that doesn't mean that I think it's ridiculous. That doesn't mean that I'm going to say they're milking us. Like, this is what a tech company does when they get to a position of dominance. Suck it up, Cupcake. This is what happens. Apple got to a position of dominance, and they did the same dadgum thing. Is anybody crying about Nvidia's market dominance and what they're charging for their video cards? Where's all the malding, seething, and tears about that? Are you getting milked by Nvidia when you buy a video card at the top shelf price when it comes out? Are you? Every tech company does this, but when PlayStation does it, it's ridiculous. And they're milking you. And I should call them out about it. It's just the way of the world. This is business. You don't have to like it. There's no right or wrong. This is an amoral reality. There's no morality here. There's no ethics. It's a tech company that has gotten to a position of dominance in the market. And the crying and the hand-wringing and the seething over the price is laughably stupid, coming from people that will praise NVIDIA, or that will buy top-dollar video cards, or will buy top-dollar smartwatches, or will buy top-dollar smartphones. They all look like freaking morons, because it's like, what are you doing? You literally pay into an economy of tech company dominance that charges top dollar for their devices, but then you seethe, mauled, and cry like a baby because PlayStation wants to sell their highest end console for $700. There's no ethics. Why? Because you say so? No, because categorically, the price of a premium tech device doesn't land in the theater or the category of ethics. Have you taken any business ethics courses? The price of a high-end device, that's not an ethical category. You could make whatever you want and charge whatever you want. There's no ethics behind that. You could take a piece of paper and cut it in half and say, I'm selling half a piece of paper for $1,000. There's no ethics involved there. Maybe stupidity, but no, not ethics. And a 5-bomb from Belphegor, and an a renewal from Josh, a member plus. 6 members out of nowhere. You guys can move this number really fast with gifteds and upgrades and renewals. It's 700. And when the PS6 is going to do what, 1,000? Okay, let's imagine that the PS6 is $1,000. Okay? What's the problem with that? Walk me through why that's a problem. I'm not saying that that's good, bad. I'm not saying anything about it. I want you argue why the PlayStation 6 at $1,000 is wrong or unethical. Give me your argument. What is it? If it's just your opinion, $450 would be reasonable, or $500. Okay, that's just your opinion. There's no facts there. I could assert anything. I could assert that iPhone should be $5. That's just my opinion. That's not an argument. Assertions are not arguments. Make an argument. I want to pay less, therefore it's bad. I mean, you could say that about anything. You could say that about the cost of a movie ticket. You could say that about the cost of gas. You could say that about the cost of televisions. Well, I don't want to spend that much, so it's bad. Well, okay. I mean, my kids are learning a valuable lesson in that regard. They earn money by doing chores, and then my daughter is wish listing stuff in the American Girl doll store, and she's learning real quick that when you want to buy really, really nice things, they ain't cheap. Little cute trinkets for your doll, little cute shoes and desks and lockers. It's expensive. It's a great lesson for her to learn. You earn money, you can save it, spend it, or give it away. And she's learning. You got to save it if you want to buy those high-end things, if you want to buy those really nice things. She can cry and moan and complain that American Girl is charging too much for their stuff, and I would tell her to suck it up. They made it. If you want it, you got to save the money. It's that simple. A member plus from Corkscrew. Keep it up. Thank you so much for renewing, Corkscrew. And a member plus from Creature. There, and there. Different words with different meanings. Just saying. Thank you so much. Bumping us to 108. Come on, boys. If we hit 200 today, I'm dropping a 50 bomb. Let's do it. Let's hustle. All right. I'm going to read what you're saying, Aaron Glenn. I want to get your argument here. Let me walk through your argument. Okay. Here's his argument. Because you can buy a Nintendo Switch 2 and a new Xbox for $1,000. Okay. And $600 for the Pro. I'd say $600 for most. Okay. So the crux of your argument is I could go to a different company and buy a different device for less money. Yep. That doesn't demonstrate a problem. That demonstrates choice. You've not demonstrated a problem. You have merely demonstrated choice. Go do that with televisions. You could buy the best of the best and buy a television for $3,000. Or you could buy 3 TVs that are each $1,000 and put one in each of your rooms. Which is the most important thing to you? Would you like to have a TV in 3 rooms, or would you like to have the best television? You have choice. You can choose. Where are your values? What matters most to you? Isn't that wonderful? To me, that's a good thing. You can decide, hey, I could buy a Ferrari or 8 minivans. Which are you going to do? Well, I could buy 8 minivans for the cost of that Ferrari. That's ridiculous. Okay. Do it then, I guess. Go buy the 8 minivans instead. Have a little soccer mom fleet. You're just demonstrating choice. You're not demonstrating a problem. You're not demonstrating anything unethical. XCal gifts a member, and he says, let's go. Let's get a little train going here. Little single gifted train. Let's see it. I'm not spending $700 on a Pro. Aaron, here's what's wonderful about that. You are free to do that. I'm totally okay with that. I don't care. Don't buy it then. That's fine. Don't. The market is made up of people that aren't you. You and I are very different. Very different. I love mushrooms and banana peppers on a pepperoni pizza. You might think that sounds disgusting. I think the Pro is worth it. You don't. Great. But to come in and be like, everybody sees it but you. Sony's just milking us. This is wrong. Huh? What? No. That's not true. A 5 spot from Siriu, $5 super chat says, choices are great until I can't afford to choose one. And then a 5 bomb from Siriu says, let's keep the member train going. Lono has thrown down a gauntlet. If we get to 200 members, I got to drop a 50 bomb on chat. Let's go. That's a criminal treatment of pizza. I grew up on it. I think it's wonderful. I think it tastes fantastic. Here's the interesting thing that happens, right? To the gentleman that we've been having the discussion with, and I totally welcome Aaron Glenn. I welcome your perspective. You've been respectful. You know, you've come in and just had dialogue. You know, you seemingly summarized my position kind of falsely. I pushed back on it, and now we've moved past that, and I can abide that. That's fine. Here's the thing. If you come in here and you say, I don't think it's worth it, I'm not going to buy a PS5 Pro. Do you want to know what I never do? I never go, are you kidding me? You'd have to be an idiot to not buy the Pro. You'd have to be stupid. You'd have to be a dyed-in-the-wool, bleed-green Xbox PC Master Race moron to not buy the Pro. Did you notice that I didn't do that? I've had plenty of people come in and say, I don't think it's worth it. I'm going to keep my PS5. I like my PC better. And I've never responded that way. But funny enough, if you say you like the Pro, if I say I think it's underrated or underestimated, or I think it's really worth it, or I'm going to get one, that's what people say to me. That's the response from the other side. You're an idiot. You're a corporate shill. You're stupid. You're a pony. What? You not buying it isn't a problem for me. But me buying it sure is a problem for others. Don't you see how weird that is? A gifted member from Darren rounds us out to 115. A 10 bomb away from 125. Thank you so much. Dipset New York with a $5 super chat. Nobody's talking about the $600 Xbox that has the same exact specs. Yeah, imagine spending more money on an Xbox and the only thing you get is a larger hard drive. Be still my beating heart. Same exact power. You have to ask yourself the question. Zoom all the way out on this. I want you to pretend that you're an alien from outer space. And you're trying to figure out what the PS5 Pro is. You're interested in humans and their technological prowess. It would be pretty confusing because you would see the human race reacting to the PS5 Pro in emotional, unhinged, really strange ways. And as an alien race, you'd be trying to compute that. Well, it appears this device has harmed them in some way. Physically, mentally, spiritually. Like, if you were trying to figure it out, like, what in the world's going on here? Like, why is this the level of response? It's just a piece of technology. It's an optional piece of technology. You wouldn't be able to figure it out. Like, if you zoom out from this and you just kind of look at this situation from afar, it is bizarre. It is bizarre. You had PC Master Race guys lying, misrepresenting. You had them claiming you could buy PCs for the same amount of money, and then they couldn't do it. You had people building PCs without memory. You had PC guys recommending a $1,400 pre-built from Best Buy that wasn't even equivalent to the Pro. Like, what in the world? It's crazy. It's all crazy. Xbox still uses batteries and controllers. I kind of like that, though. Maybe it's because I'm old-fashioned. I'm from that era, batteries not included. I kind of like that. It's just like, my wife gets those Amazon strips of batteries for all the kids' toys. It's like if it starts to die, you just slap new batteries in instead of having to plug it in. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. A $5 super chat from Rice Eater says, remember when the PS4 Pro released at $400, but Xbox One X was $500? Literally no one bemoaned the price and all the media showered it with praise. I don't remember that. I mean, I remember when those came out, but I don't remember how the media responded. Aliens are postponing their invasion of Earth because the console wars are just way too hectic. Yeah. You're a Luddite. It's not 1994 anymore. Yeah. It just, there's something about it. You know what I mean? You pop the batteries out, you put the fresh batteries in, I don't know. Takes me back to my Game Boy days, We're at the age batteries and controllers ain't it. I mean, I would never complain about the DualSense controller not having batteries. It's just, it doesn't bother me. There's something nostalgic about, replacing batteries. I'd rather have to deal with AA batteries than deal with a cord. Right, Hank? That's what I'm saying. Like, if I forget to charge my freaking controller, all of a sudden I got to run a cable across my living room. E-waste? Yeah. The reloading of the shotgun shells? Yeah, dude, yeah. I remember when I got the rechargeable one for my Xbox, my Xbox 360 controller, and then I got one for my Xbox One controller. Though that was nice. The little black rechargeable one. You just plug your controller in, it would recharge. I like that. You think the PS5 controller should have Hall effect joysticks? I would love it if Nintendo for the Switch 2 and Xbox and PlayStation, I would love it if they all switched to Hall effect joysticks. But the problem is, the difficulty is that you need somebody to get up to scale to produce and distribute Hall effect joysticks to support the mass production of a DualSense or Joy-Cons or Xbox controllers. That's the big challenge right now. You would need there to be some kind of a collaborative effort where PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox would have to see the business impetus and the need for it, and then enter an agreement that would allow a company like that to ramp up production and get larger. I don't think there's a company right now probably at the scale to do it. Does that make sense? The reason that all of the controllers, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, they all get stick drift is because they all get their joysticks from the same manufacturer. And what Excess is saying is kind of what I hinted at. They won't move to Hall Effect. They sell too many controllers every year. Yes, it's become like it's built-in obsolescence. It's also systematic obsolescence. Like, I don't think it's planned obsolescence. It is endemic and systemic to the people making it. I don't know if the people making it, if it's planned or not. You'd have to go to the joystick manufacturers and research whether or not it's planned obsolescence. I don't think PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox would say it's planned obsolescence. It's become more systemic obsolescence, which means they're just naturally getting more controllers sold because of it, and I don't think they're going to move against that. It's not in their interest to do it. Xbox makes a lot of controllers. They must do it for a reason, right? They must sell a lot. So I think that's always going to be the issue that you face. I'm also being told in a DM that Hall Effect joysticks have their own problems as well. Maybe they're not quite as maybe they lack in certain areas of precision. So maybe there's room for improvement there as well. I don't know. I don't think there's business impetus. I think the companies, I think Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation are going to say, hey, we're making good money on these controllers. It's not hurting us financially. Nobody's refusing to buy controllers because we don't do Hall Effect. Why would we invest all this money in R&D and disrupt production lines? For what? They're going to make decisions based on profit, and I don't see Hall Effect joysticks leading to more profit for any of the three main players, which are Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. So, no profit incentive, then it likely won't happen. There has to be a profit incentive. So, all right, I'm gonna give you guys. You guys got 21 minutes. You have 21 minutes to try to hit 200 members. So double check and make sure you don't have a renewal. Consider upgrading. Consider gifting. You got 21 minutes. If we hit 200, I'm dropping a 50 bomb. And then we're going to go to the writer's room. In between now and then, you can submit questions. A couple of people have already done so. Lone Wolf says, did we get news on Expedition 33? It was not news, Lone Wolf. It was a cast trailer. Interestingly enough, it's a really, really deep cast of people. It's a really, really deep cast of people. It is, let me give you the names. Ben Starr's in there. Charlie Cox is in there. Andy Serkis is in there. And these are names you might recognize. I didn't recognize these ones, so I didn't say them. Jennifer English. Let's do a quick Google search. Oh, wow. She was a big hit with Baldur's Gate 3. Jennifer English's Shadowheart is a fan favorite companion, and she is gorgeous. Kirsty Ryder. I show no preferences, by the way. I've complimented the men as well. Kirsty Ryder. Let me see here. She's done Space Pirates, The Girl Before, and The Sandman. So I've not heard her. Shala Nix. She's done voiceover work, animation. She did something for Phantom Liberty. She was a voice actor for Phantom Liberty and some other games as well. And then Andy Serkis, and then Ben Starr and Charlie Cox. We all know who those handsome devils are, especially Ben Starr. He's very good looking. Anyways, that was what they announced today. They pushed out a cast trailer. And yeah, so they got a nice lineup. And no, the one guy in Expedition 33 is not Robert Pattinson. Okay, no. Support your favorite partner. No. All right. Next question from Stonespire says, any word on Unknown 9? It comes out tomorrow. I will be checking this out tomorrow. Likely I'll be doing this in the green room. No, I don't think it comes out tomorrow. I think it comes out Friday. But I will be checking that out in the green room. That's a great reason to upgrade to Member Plus. Breaking, the FTC has announced the click to cancel rule that will require companies to let you cancel any product as easily as you registered. Long, difficult cancellation processes will be illegal. If you signed up with the click, they'll have you cancel with the click. Hey, that could move in the direction of refunds on video games. That could be a great catalyst to that conversation. You could say, listen, as easily as it was to purchase this item, it should be just as easy to return the item. And I think you should be able to return and refund digital goods within a certain time frame. You only played the game for an hour? Yeah. I should be able to go click a button. I think it should be just as easy on Steam. I think Steam makes you jump through a few too many hoops. I think Steam treats you significantly better than PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox, but I think even Steam should make it more simplistic. I should go to the game in my library and click uninstall, refund. And that should be grayed out after a certain amount of time. It should even have a countdown. It should tell me, hey, in 30 minutes, this grays out. And I think Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, same thing. Same thing. Click to cancel, click to refund. Do that next. The consumer is not properly protected against bad product. We are not properly protected. And we should be. And the only one that can do it is the government. That's what they're there for, right? They're there at some level to protect us, from threats, foreign and at home. And I think that's a threat to the consumer to not be able to refund a bad product. So, didn't Steam say you don't own any games you buy from them? Haseo also had a pretty good question. You guys think consoles are an alternative to gaming, or it's just something that a PC but you don't have it go through a rigmarole of a PC? I'm curious how you guys see it. I don't know how the world and what I'm thinking. I want Lona's perspective on this. So do I think a console is an alternative to gaming, or is it just something that's a PC but with less rigmarole? This is how I would say it. I view consoles as gateways into the world of gaming. Now, what's on the other side of that gateway is determined by the one that you go through. And what you have to do when you get through the door or get to the door is different. There are more steps required on PC. If you say there isn't, you're lying. There just are. There's more steps involved, all right? There are more elements involved. Right? Drivers, an operating system, you're interacting with an entirely different ecosystem that's not even gamer centric. It's got other things that you can do. It's a PC, right? It is a personal computer. No, it's a personal computing device. And consoles offer, I think, a more streamlined way in, but then again, it's easier to get through the door, but when you're on the other side of the door, the rules are different. It's closed ecosystem. If you want to use the, online functions of non-free games, you have to pay for their service. You have arguably less indie, smaller dev games. A lot of the early access games and indie games and AA games hit Steam first or only hit Steam. So certainly, I just view them all as gateways, and you have to choose which one you want to walk through. You have to choose which one that you think is best for you. Some of us have every single one because we think it's worth it to have all of them. Some people only have one, some people have two. Right now, I think best value, if you can own two things, it's PC and a PS5 Pro. I think that's like best value. You're going to get the best of everything. Right after that, if you're willing to spend a little bit more, I would say PC, PS5 Pro, and a Switch 2 when it comes out. If you only can own one system, that's going to be super dependent on the person. Consoles were the beginning of gaming. Pong, Atari, etc. It's PCs that were tech adventures and word processors. If anything, it was console that was the gateway to PC gaming. I'd have to do more research into that claim. I'd have to do more research into that claim. My instinct is to say that's not accurate. I don't know if historically that's accurate. Is that accurate? Weren't some of the I thought some of the first video games were PC. Right? Like, am I wrong? I don't know the exact timeline of like Pong, Atari, and Pac-Man and all of that. I don't know the exact timeline. I can't remember. I feel like PC was first, though. Maybe I'm incorrect in thinking that. PC is the alternative, for it's more of a tool than you can also game on it. For sure. PC was first. I feel like the original games that first started showing up were designed and playable on PC first, not a home console. Arcade first? No, I still think PC was first. I think PC games predate arcades, don't they? People don't have PCs when the first games were made. I could be wrong. I mean, it could have initiated in arcades, Pac-Man, and then it came to the home with Pong and Atari. Did you guys hear a sound? Did my computer make a sound? I swear I just heard something. Consoles provide easier game development with predictable hardware for better quality control. They provide protection from cheating, a streamlined marketplace for developers, and more importantly, a known market for developers to rely on. First video games were on PC, is what I'm being told in a DM. The first video game ever. The first video game is generally considered to be Tennis for Two, created by William Higginbotham in 1958. It was players could turn a knob and adjust the angle of the ball. That was Pong, right? October of 1958. A physicist invents the first video game. You would turn a knob, adjust it as long as you press the button. Tennis for Two had none of the fancy graphics video games used today. Cathode ray tube display simply showed a side view. Yeah, was that considered like a console? It was like a personal gaming device, wasn't it? The Magnavox Odyssey was 1972. It's the first console. Well, wasn't this thing in 1958 its own bespoke device? Like, it wasn't a PC? The game circuitry was fairly simple, using mostly resistors, capacitors, and relays, though it did use transistors for the fast switching needed when the ball was in play. The first version used in the 1958 Visitor's Day had an oscilloscope with a tiny display only 5 inches in diameter. The next year, he improved it with a larger display screen. This sounds like it was its own bespoke device. Like, he made this thing so that you could play Tennis for Two, which is basically the birth of Pong. I was actually interested. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters who did it first. I was just suddenly interested by the topic. I was like, I actually don't know. I think it was PC that was first, but yeah, that kind of sounds like a personal gaming device. I would not call a mini computer a console also. Well, console as a concept was, you know, what, the Atari, right? Anyways, yeah, Unknown 9, we'll be checking that out. Yeah, we'll be checking that out. That was the last question. We have 8 minutes. I'm scheduling Writer's Room. You guys have 8 minutes to scramble to 200. You guys are going to have 2 days to go nuts if you want the Silent Hill streams to happen. Both I'll play it and my wife will play it Friday night. You guys are going to have to really scramble. You can make it easier on yourself. And I'm going to drop a 50 bomb if we do it. You guys have 8 minutes to scramble. I'll schedule this for 12:30. The first commercially available video game came out in 1972. Right. Yeah, the birth of video games is kind of intertwined, isn't it? I mean, you had arcades, you had Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, you had Atari, all around the same time frame, right? Hang on, I'm scheduling and setting up redirect. The first video game, but video games did not become commercially viable until arcades and early consoles. Right, from a commercial standpoint, for sure, for sure. We're hearing that Stalker 2 is getting high praise. I really hope that game crushes it. That team's been through the ringer. Stalker 2 hands-on previews left the impression that the team created something special. Feels like I played a clear game of the year contender. Very much a hostile, dangerous open world. It's refreshing to be challenged and manage resources like ammunition, food, and survive. Large number of ways to tackle objectives. Guns a-blazing, stealth, peaceful. This sounds great. Oh my gosh. How many people are saying Game of the Year contender? Is it only an Xbox centric outlet, or do we have other outlets claiming that? Like, what's VGC and Eurogamer saying? I'm looking at Eurogamer right now. I want to go down to their conclusion. They wrote a lot. Holy crap, they wrote a lot. This is a big one. In an age of clockwork Souls-likes and heavily curated experiences like God of War, the flexibility and adaptability of Stalker 2's irradiated sandbox is refreshing and intriguing. If it continues to expand and elaborate upon across the whole world of the exclusion zone, then GSC Game World might have something special on their hands. So, high praise from Eurogamer. VGC says... We're keen to have the final game in our hands after what was an impressive few hours. It's hard to imagine more studios making even a decent game in these circumstances, but GSC Game World is going to emerge from the literal rubble of their home city with something so promising, it's incredibly inspiring. Kind of want them to win Game of the Year. I do. That'd be so freaking dope. It really would. Like, what a bunch of champions. If they walk out of all that and they deliver not just the Game of the Year, but a shooter Game of the Year, like, that's tough. That's a tough genre to innovate in, and it sounds like they are wowing people. I kind of want them to win Game of the Year. That would be so great. What a year. What a year. If that gets up on the podium and you get Stalker 2, Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor, like, what a year. Like a Dragon, all those very different games. Dude, come on, man. That's a big year. Gaming is not in a bad spot, dude. It can't compete. How do you know? It's after the cutoff. No! Oh, no! No, that's... Oh, come on. Back it up by a week. Come on. Back it up by a week. Release it a week early. Jeff Keighley, you make an exception. Come on. Are you serious? It's November 20th. It's 5 days late. It's not after the cutoff. They were given an exception. Wait. Where has that been said? They said they made an exception for it already? Wait, that's been officially stated? Where has that been stated? I'm dead serious, dude. I want that game to frickin' win Game of the Year. I would love that for them. Let's see. Game of the Year exception. We got 2 minutes. Has Keeley said anything official? I'm not seeing anything. No shot. Next year it won't even be a nominee. Yeah, next year will be tough. They won't. It won't be fair for other years. Yeah, because so many other games landed outside the Game Awards nomination window because of a dadgum war. November 20th is the cutoff for the Game Awards. The Game Awards 2024 cutoff. November 17th is the cutoff according to Polygon. November 17th is the cutoff for new releases. Come on, man. You got to give them 3 days grace on that. This article is saying November the 17th. I thought, did Jeff Keighley officially say anything about it on Twitter? Keighley cutoff. I'm not seeing any tweets from him about the cutoff. Is it on the website? The Game Awards. Seriously, Google? Where's the official website? What the heck is going on? Where's the official website, Google? I can't. It's literally not in the search results. Is it thegameawards.com? Good Lord, Google's a joke. I literally searched for the Game Awards and you couldn't find thegameawards.com. It wasn't even on the first page. Many Christmas. Let's see. Frequently asked questions. No, I don't want to subscribe to your stuff. Go where I told you to go, website. Do they have the cutoff listed? They're eligible. Games eligible for the Game Awards this year must be available for public consumption on or before Friday, November the 22nd. Titles that are released after that date will be eligible next year. They could do it. They could do it. I'm totally cheering for that game to win, bro. I am. I'm officially, fully cheering for Stalker 2 to win Game of the Year. I haven't even played it yet. And I'm telling you, I want them to win so bad. That would be so awesome. If the previews are an indication, that it has a chance. It has a chance. So, I'm pulling for it. Hang on a second. Oh, somebody says, here, let's do these 2 more questions and we got to go to the writer's room. Murphy says, do you think the PS5 Pro will arrive early? I mean, if you mean like literally arrive at your house early, some people might get it a day early. Sometimes that happens, but I don't think it'll be like a week or anything like that. It'll just be like maybe a day, maybe 2. John always says, streaming aside, would you pick day and date on Xbox or wait 3 to 6 months for a Pro enhanced version? I'm always going to be willing to wait for the Pro enhanced version if it's within 6 months. If it gets beyond 6 months, then it really depends on the performance. Like, let's say, as an example, let's say Indiana Jones comes out on Xbox. Well, I can play it on Game Pass to try it out. But if I know within 6 months it's going to be PS5 Pro enhanced and the enhancements are going to be pretty good, I'll wait. But if it's just like, let's say Indiana Jones has a really good performance mode, runs really smooth, no major issues, and then the Pro enhanced version will be a little bit better with maybe some ray tracing, I'll probably just play it day and date. It depends. Like, every game's a little different. Every game's going to have different enhancements. Every game's going to appeal to me more or less depending on certain things. So, wait, hang on 1 second. What is this? Breaking. Ex-Rockstar Games producer Leslie Benzi's studio, Build a Rocket Boy, is partnering with IO Interactive, the creators of Hitman, to debut their game Mind's Eye. Check out 7 brand new screenshots of the game. Hang on, there we go. This looks like an Unreal game. Right? The lighting here and the lighting here. Is this a UE5 game? Have they said? Yeah, the shadows on his arm. I don't know. That looks like a UE5 game to me. GTA at home. I mean, yeah, maybe. All right, we're gonna go to the writer's room. Did I set redirect? Okay, let me give you guys a link. Let's see. Huge day, guys. Huge day. Smash that like button on your way out. Massive support for this live stream, and my upload's just going crazy. So everybody that watched this morning and hit like and left a comment, thank you. If you've not watched my upload, go check it out. If you can't come to the writer's room, consider supporting the channel directly. For $6 a month, you get into the green room, the writer's room, morning coffee, my Discord. All of those benefits come to you for $6 a month, and it does support me directly. So thank you to everybody who's been doing that. If you're not on a membership, if you're on a gifted or you can't afford your own, just come here as often as you can. We gift like crazy. Gifting slowed down a little bit, which sometimes I'm okay with. That might make you feel like, hey, maybe I should pick up my own when the gifting slows down, because it does make room for others as well when you do that. So click the link in chat. We're going to go to the writer's room. Thanks so much for being a member and supporting the channel, either through watching enough to get a gifted or supporting directly. We are still trying to get that Member Plus thing to move. So if you haven't upgraded, go check your membership tier, bump up by $1. It gets you into the green room and other segments. And then when we hit 600, we'll celebrate. It slowed down a little bit this week. If you guys hit 500 by Friday, you'll get a Silent Hill 2 stream Friday afternoon with me and that night with Madam. So you're going to have to come pretty big on Thursdays and Fridays to make that happen. I'm going to end the previous stream. We did a gaming news this week stream about all the various topics, and tons of you showed out. So thank you for supporting that, and thank you to everybody who supported that upload as well. That was an experiment that